Good afternoon, my friends. It's September 2016, and this is Dr. Pan Gabriel. I've entitled today's talk, Walking Home with Linda. Walking Home with Linda. Anyway, about 46 years ago, when I was about 14, Linda and I were walking home from school. We were in the same class. I always came first, academically speaking, and to her chagrin, she always came a very close second. During the 2 school years, we were blessed to know each other. I've never known what it's like to come second in class. The curse of a photographic memory. Talk about being a nerd. Anyway, this was back in the good old days in Johannesburg, South Africa. I fondly remember Linda's beautiful and fiery red hair blowing gently in the breeze as we walked. I also remember her cute freckles adorning her shapely shoulders, and the unruly hormones of a 14-year-old boy running amok at the delightful feminine arrangement of enzymes walking beside me. Dear. The genders, the masculine, the feminine, the attraction we have for one another. What a delight the infinite invented. What could be more natural, right? Anyway, that's definitely not the point of this story. Intellectuals that we were, Linda and I, we fell to discussing life and the reality of the world, society, and the upcoming Christmas frenzy. She expressed her concern how that her father and his friends always got blind drunk and ate themselves to a standstill, embarrassing her no end. She expressed her view that they were completely missing the spirit of Christmas. I listened respectfully, and when I finished reflecting, I expressed to her, my experiences were not at all so severe, thankfully, but similar, yes. I also had come to the point of dreading Christmas and living with the hypocrisy of it all. Not that my father ever got blind drunk. In fact, he kept his liquor extremely well. My father and I were very good friends. He told me a story long before I was born. He grew up basically as a engineer, as a practical engineer, in the jungles and deserts of Sudan, building man-made lakes and things like that for the government. So one fine afternoon on their day off, his friends and him hit the liquor a bit hard. So my father went off to rest and recover under a tree, a ways from his friends by himself. An hour or so later, he woke up and walked up to where his friends were, and he saw them all disheveled and beaten up. So they said to him, "Vasily, where the heck were you?" He says, "Well, I was just, 3 minutes away under a tree, sleeping it off. What happened to you guys?" Man, a bunch of energetic indigenous peoples had come across his friends, saw that they were really under the weather. That means drunk in South Africa, not sick as it means in the US. Anyway, and had beaten them, stolen all their money, etc. And my father had escaped it all. Anyway, so I loved my dad. He's passed on now to the other realm, and my mom missed them. Anyway, so Linda and I were idealists at our tender age of 14, and we had enough self-awareness and world awareness, or so we thought, to know that we definitely did not approve of or wanted in any way to emulate the distorted spirit of Christmas that had so far been our mutual experience. So I expressed to Linda that my father was my best friend and that I would talk with him about this so he could control his friends. Linda told me how lucky I was to have that opportunity. She, on the other hand, saw no hope in changing her dad's views on the matter. So believe it or not, I did talk to my dad about it, and he saw the light and completely changed his views and behavior and made his friends do so as well. My dad always had many friends. He was very popular. Regarding, he set his friends straight regarding the decadence that people displayed around Christmas. As I say, not for religious reasons, but for the dignity of the human spirit. That's worth volumes by itself. The dignity of the human spirit. Like my hair is rising on end. There is mystery, there is reverence, there is deep meaning in that statement, my friends. That's another story. Back to Linda and me now. So the conversation next shifted to all the other negative, deleterious, and destructive morphogenetic fields that society and hence she and I were immersed in and influenced by. Viz. Crime, rotten politicians, hypocritical and out-of-touch academics, etc., etc., etc. For example, Linda and I were street smart enough to know that we would never use 90% of the crap we were taught in school, and that we would mindlessly have to regurgitate back to the teachers in order to get a passing grade. Thus, here were two young 14-year-old, wet behind the ears, tender souls that should have been reveling at living the joie de vivre, and discovering and enjoying more and more of the world, that instead were mourning the blackness, the bleakness, the insipidness, the darkness of an empty, bland, hollow, shallow world, a world bereft of morals, of human dignity, worthwhile values, and an endless excitement such as Ferdinand Magellan must have felt circumnavigating the world, etc., etc. We were bereft of that is, these worthwhile values, such as an endless excitement of Magellan circumnavigating the world. Instead of looking forward, therefore, to a wholesome life, a productive life of exploration, achievement, and constructive evolution, a blooming, a blossoming. I hate that word, evolution. I don't believe in evolution. And I am a scientist. It's a lot of poppycock. We do not evolve. We don't need to evolve from anything. We're perfect as we are. Anyway, so, instead of looking to such a wonderful world for us and for our fellow human beings, we saw only the anguish, the futility of Plato's dancing shadows on the cave wall, to become a little poetic there. So, The world has not changed at all regarding these vital concerns. Now, 46 years later, whatever, and I have no idea where Linda is now and how her life panned out after those 2 years we spent together. I moved on to another school, my family moved, and we never saw each other again. My quest, my odyssey had began though, for a worthwhile life. I wanted to know the truth. I have by now, of course, amassed at 62. Next month I'll be turning 62. I'm a Libra. I have amassed, you can say, a lifetime, quote unquote, of knowledge, understanding, wisdom, and experiences. And I'm still learning every day. Don't for 1 second think I have stopped learning or I have stopped having epiphanies. No way. In fact, more now than ever. So, although I have amassed, as I say, the proverbial lifetime of knowledge and experiences, very few of them were angelic, heavenly, and wonderful. Very few of them were hellish as well, and would probably easily qualify as a paragraph in Dante's Hell. But mostly, things played out in the middle. Marriage to the love of my life was wonderful, of course. 6 magnificent daughters with her was ineffable. My career as a holistic nutritionist, having facilitated the healing of everything from arthritis to cancer and all in between, mild depression, clinically called dysthymia, to schizophrenia and all in between. I've traveled, I've had exquisite friends, vicious enemies, etc., etc. My quest, though, for the life still continues, and I'm glad about that. Imagine if I'd not done all I wanted to do by age 62. No. Today, during my meditation, as is my habit in the morning, I had another wonderful experience. These days, these wonderful experiences seem to be multiplying, a phenomenon that I'm hugely grateful for and enjoying no end. So, as I was communing with the Infinite, the following words of the Christ hit me like a ton of bricks, as it were, between the eyes. The first one was in John 14:2, King James Version. I quote, "In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you." And the one in Matthew 11, verses 28 to 30, also King James Version of the Bible, the New Testament. By the way, at one point I used to travel between Johannesburg and Pretoria every day, a couple of years, and I had the whole Bible from Genesis to Revelation on tape. I used to enjoy listening to that. I've read thousands of other books. I've written more than a dozen books. So I enjoyed the Bible as my companion. And as a result of that, I listened word for word to the Bible from beginning to end, from Genesis to Revelation, about 23 times last time I counted. So, Matthew 11, verse 28 to 30. "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light." Oh yeah, man. Listen, I'm not a Bible puncher. I'm not a religious person. neither am I really a spiritual person. I'm a person that believes in an infinite creative intelligence. You'll see why in a moment. Now, those were wow words for me, you know. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden. So many people are these days, 99, the proverbial 99%, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, humble, that is, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. Oh yeah, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light, not difficult. Wow, is there really a place for me in the mansion of the infinite? Is there an infinite that so understands me that he or she, probably both, has to tell me that? Does the infinite so clearly have to spell it out for me in order to get through to me that? And I quote, come unto me, again, I quote, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Ah, oh, yes, please, thank you. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart. End quote. I mean, come on. I live in the real world. Is there really an infinite creative intelligence? If so, what is this infinite? And what's it playing out in our reality? What's going on down here? My grandson the other day, so wonderful, so intelligent. His mom and dad and we're preparing to take him to church. So yells out to his dad. Let me see if I get this right now. I don't want to misquote him. Come on, Dad. Let's get going. We're going to church to hear what God has going on today. I love you. My children and grandchildren. Wonderful. See, yeah, that's it, yeah. What you got going on down here, God? Please do pray tell. We'd love to know. The 99% of us that want to, that don't know. I'm sure that 0.00001% of us knows, but hey, don't quite know if I'm there yet. Don't quite know. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so the words and concepts, these words and concepts of the Christ consciousness kept replaying in my ears. And suddenly, an ineffable smile and a wonderful epiphany and state of mind corralled me. Suddenly I realized that, number one, life and intelligence can only come from life and intelligence. How can life come from non-life? Come on. How can intelligence come from non-intelligence? Ergo, there must be some kind of infinite creative intelligence directing, sustaining all this lot, this thing called life. And number two, perforce, and by definition and practicality, this so-called infinite creative intelligence would have to be omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. Otherwise, the whole thing would unravel in a nanosecond. No, some smarty pants out there will tell me, well, how could God have existed forever? Who made God? Give me a break. That's like trying to explain to an ant how to build a spaceship that will take you to the moon and back. But I don't know, by the way. I don't know. But I don't need to know right now. What I do know is I am. I am self-aware. I am. So, something must be going on. I have life, I have intelligence. Someone or something must have brought it into existence. Things don't manifest from nothing unless someone has the power to manifest them from nothing. Anyway, okay. So, number 3. This whole reality / universe, you and me, must be part of this infinite. By definition, our reality and you and me cannot not be part of an infinite that is omniscient. That means knows it all. Omnipotent, that means has all power. And omnipresent means is everywhere. For those who are not up to speed with their Latin, although these are now English words. Forgive me. We've come to that point where you've got to explain what words mean. I am so sorry. I do not mean to be pedantic. And number 4, each moment, quote unquote, will always take care of itself. That's another big statement. This ergo alone is worth a few volumes, but another time. If such a time ever comes from my pen or my tongue, who knows? Now, one can deduce an infinite amount of ergos from this lot. 4 points. By the way, you lose track, the text of this will be in the resource section of the YouTube. But for today, for me, it was more than enough to focus on the ergo that little old me, as we would say in Texas, is actually a part of this infinite creative intelligence. And that the infinite really has a room in its mansion for me and you. And I and you can unburden ourselves of all our troubles and metaphorically hand them over to the infinite, thus completely removing any stress, strain, disease, aging, and all other kinds of hell from our lives. Yes, we can truly rest now. By the way, I wish I found this out when I was 25, but I didn't. We don't have to age. No, not one single day past 25 or whatever. You choose your age. This is a lie we have come to believe from the demonic forces that are cut off from the infinite and are abundantly swirling around on this planet. Reality, actually, there's no planet of ours, negatively influencing us. I have started reversing the aging process personally and helping others to do it as well. Because I'm a scientist, because I can see others objectively and I'm dealing with myself subjectively, I have much better success with others, much faster success with others, shall I say, than with me. Although other people tell me, they keep telling us, hey, you guys are looking younger every time we see you. Have you had a lift? Facelift or something? What's going on? Who knows? This is an experiment in progress, reversing the age process. Although I now have heard and read mainstream scientists talking about the same thing, reversing the aging process. So I'll keep you posted, and you Google it as well. Go to YouTube. Lots of information on YouTube nowadays, almost as much as Google. And also there will be URLs galore here talking about the new sciences. You can see videos in the resource box that will be under the neuroplastic universe about these new sciences cognitive neuroscience, neuroplasticity, epigenetics, psychoneuroimmunology, all these unpronounceable Greek/Latin words. I'm sorry, I just committed a big sin there. I said Greek. There's no such thing as Greek. We are Hellenes. I'm such a creature. We call ourselves Hellenes. The Turks call us Greeks. Other people call us Greeks. We call ourselves Hellenes. And we call our country Hellas. Hellas, not Greece. See the brainwashing. Still haven't gotten rid of it. Anyway. So, these realizations filled me suddenly with a peace. These realizations from the infinite, the four that I mentioned. They filled me with a joy, with a freedom, and with a bliss that left me smiling from ear to ear for many, many moments as I hung out with the infinite in paradise, metaphorically speaking. Don't know how long time-wise. I lost track of clock time. It also left me with a contentment and an acceptance of the moment. I also realized that I can only lose this presence if I forget about it and fall into unconsciousness again, as our beloved friend Eckhart Tolle says. Bless him. I agree with him 1,000%. Woe unto us when we lose our presence and we fall into unconsciousness. I also realize that by definition, there can only be one of us, and that the cause of all suffering is the belief in the illusion that there is more than one of us. Although, I hasten and stress to add, we each have our unique personalities as children of the infinite creative intelligence, okay? We're not just one amorphous soup. These people really get on my nerves who talk about the infinite, the creative intelligence, as though the infinite has no personality. Oh, it's just an energy, they say. It's just an energy. Oh, it's very intelligent and all that, but it has no personality. It does not really care whether you live or die, or happy or not. It just responds to your vibration. Poppycock. Bull. Okay? The infinite creative intelligence has a fathomless, ineffable personality. Okay? It's not just some amorphous soup. Whoa, that really riles me. Anyway, okay. Sorry about that. Or not. This is me. This is Pan. I'm a peace-loving person. In fact, they threatened to shoot me by firing squad because I refused to take up a rifle and kill the enemy of South Africa back in the days of apartheid. So, got the distinction of being a war veteran, sans, that means without a rifle. Although during training, I got a medal for being a sharpshooter and becoming quite proficient at using my rifle. But it was only target practice. Never aimed it at a human being. And I love that about myself. That at the tender age of 19, 20, I had the gumption to stand up to the whole of South Africa and say, I don't care if you kill your enemies. They are not my enemies. I'm a peaceful, loving man, and I will not mindlessly pick up my rifle and march into war and kill for you guys. But I was right there with them. They made me a medic because they trained me as a medic. So I was patching people up left, right, and center in the military hospital, much like the TV series MASH, M-A-S-H, MASH, with Alan Alda and co. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so we have personalities, and so does the infinite. This experience also left me with a deep feeling and a stark realization that this union and communion with the infinite was all I would ever need. I could stop stressing, which, by the way, as a holistic nutritionist, I can tell you is the proverbial 99%. It is the cause of premature aging. All illnesses, except if you break a bone. Please give me a break, okay? Or someone stabs you, shoots you, right? You know what I'm getting at. It is the cause of all chronic degenerative diseases. So now this communion with the infinite invited me to stop stressing, to stop fearing, to stop panicking, to stop expecting the worst. I'm just going to my phone, sorry. Stop expecting the worst, letting go of my anger and hatred and fears, etc., etc. I could stop being engulfed by the trap of impatience and faithlessness. I could stop yearning for things. Now, does that mean that good, wonderful, delightful, and heavenly experiences will not come my way again? Of course not. Of course not. I'm sure and have no doubt that each moment will always take care of itself. And we can have plans and goals galore and commune with the infinite. And that the infinite is not into boredom and nothingness. Au contraire, as our French brethren would say. Hey, that's one language that I could never master. How would you say that in French properly? It's spelled au contraire, but I guess they would say au contraire. I have no idea. Oh dear. So the infinite is not into boredom and nothingness. To the contrary, if we look around us, we see an ineffable universe suffused with unparalleled diversity, delight, bliss, and infinite adventure. Bon voyage on that adventure. Till next time, my friends. I love you all. This is Dr. Pan. Take care.